I think what they did is use tactics of fear and division in order to accumulate votes and support in lieu of having an actual imagination of what this country could be if they implement policies that make the lives of ordinary Americans better. The Democrats have made a deal with the devil, and the devil is their corporate donors. And since their corporate donors want very specific things for the donations that they're providing to these politicians, and usually that's policy that does not bode well for American workers, what Democrats tend to do is lean into tactics of fear, or they talk about culture war issues, right? They lean into the culture war. And every election cycle, they get more and more maximalist with what they claim they want to carry out on these culture war topics. And they've gone too far. And I think Americans have kind of fought back against them.
Ana Kasparian recently joined Piers Morgan Uncensored, where Piers Morgan took a deep dive into a memorable and contentious moment from her past. He played a now infamous clip of Ana's reaction to Donald Trump's victory in the 2016 presidential election. A moment marked by an emotional meltdown in which she fiercely criticized Trump voters, particularly women who supported him. The clip has since become a symbol of the raw and visceral reactions that characterized the political climate of that time. Fast forward to 2024, and Ana Kasparian's response to Donald Trump's latest presidential victory is nothing short of extraordinary. Her reaction has stunned not only her fan base and the followers of the Young Turks, but also Piers Morgan and the broader political community. This unexpected shift in her tone and perspective has even had a ripple effect on her longtime co-host and colleague, Cenk Uygur. Now, let's delve into the interview and examine how Ana reacted to revisiting her 2016 moment of frustration, as well as the insights she shared about Trump's 24th victory. Her comments are sure to ignite fresh debates among viewers, critics, and political analysts alike.
Me too.
I think so poorly of them, and the reason why is because, look, I don't think that you're a single issue voter. I just think you're dumb, okay? I think you're fucking dumb. When you vote for someone who openly treats women like second-class citizens, who talks about them as if they're nothing more than a piece of meat, who has been accused of sexually assaulting them, who has been caught on tape talking about groping them and grabbing them by the pussy without consent, yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
So, Ana, have you moderated your view of Trump voters this time around?
To say the least. That video I am not proud of, I will say that. And, you know, I had a very emotional reaction to news that Trump won in 2016. I was totally blindsided by it. And to be quite frank, I think that attacking voters is one of the worst things you can do. These are our fellow Americans, regardless of who they vote for, what they think. In order for this great experiment in America to work, we have to respect each other. And so that was 8 years ago. I'd like to think that I've matured since then, and I hope that I can prove that maturity through the work that I do today.
It's honestly shocking. Like I've been saying all along, after Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election, the left was bound to respond in one of two ways. They'd either double, triple, or even quadruple down on their usual tactics, blaming groups like Latino men, uneducated white women, or anyone who doesn't align with their identity politics, or if you would have a complete wake-up call. Ana Kasparian was already on the path to such a wake-up call, but Trump winning in 2024, not just the Electoral College but also the popular vote, was the final push he needed. It was like a light bulb moment, not just for her but also for a small subset of the left. Even Cenk Uygur seems to be waking up. As I mentioned earlier, he's been appearing on shows like Piers Morgan Uncensored, where he's tearing into leftists for their increasingly unhinged behavior. Meanwhile, many on the left are still doubling and tripling down on the same failed narratives and strategies that lost them the election in the first place. Ana Kasparian's transformation is rare, and it's significant. She's now openly questioning the approaches and ideologies that she once defended, which is a big deal. But let's be real. It's fortunate for conservatives that most of the left hasn't followed her example. People like Whoopi Goldberg and Bill Maher, who continue to lean into their usual rhetoric, are inadvertently helping conservatives stay ahead. If more figures on the left started waking up like Ana Kasparian, things could get more challenging for future elections. For now, though, the left's inability to course correct keeps the momentum in our favor.
You posted this, I think, to X. I don't support Trump. I also don't think it's helpful to call him a fascist or a Nazi. Those words actually mean something beyond not liking a candidate. I mean, I completely agree with you. And I respected you for saying that. Because actually, the over-demonization of Trump, all it did was help him and damage the left anyway. I mean, it was an act of self-harm. Because most reasonable-minded people went, well, hang on, Hitler killed 12 million people. What are you talking about? And if he was such a terrible fascist, why didn't he behave like a fascist for 4 years when he had the chance? And the truth is he didn't. January 6th was awful, and I wrote that at the time and said it at the time. But other than that, where you could construct an argument for this was the kind of thing you would see in a sort of a banana republic, there's nothing about Trump's first term which screamed fascism to me. And I felt that persistent attack and he's the new Hitler was just ludicrous.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's insulting for the Jewish community that, of course, was victimized by Hitler. It kind of downplays or minimizes the severity and the brutality of Hitler and what he carried out. But, I think that just to play devil's advocate, those who kind of use phrases or words like fascist in order to describe Donald Trump, they're not using it in an academic sense. They're using it in regard to some of the, authoritarian tendencies that we heard about regarding Donald Trump in his first term. And, you can argue, well, there's a lot of hearsay. There's a lot of comments from disgruntled former administration officials who claim that Trump said these things behind closed doors. If you want to make that argument, that's fine. But even if let's give those individuals the benefit of the doubt and just assume that Trump did, in fact, say those things during closed door meetings, it still doesn't rise to the actual definition of a fascist, right?
Dude, that's honestly the most based I've ever heard. Ana Kasparian. She's 100% right. The Democrats have been fear-mongering their voter base for ages. It's just one doom and gloom scenario after another. The problem with this kind of fear-mongering, a lot of people bought into it, but clearly not enough. Trump won the popular vote. The bigger issue is that these scare tactics have been going on for so long. And now, with the internet and platforms like Twitter, people have access to a wider range of information. They can see for themselves that much of this fear-mongering is built on lies. Sure, once in a blue moon, they might stumble onto a legitimate concern. It's a needle in a haystack situation. But most of the time, and now even the average person can see through it. The thing is, both sides play this fear-mongering game, but let's be real. The left does it way more. And it's not working anymore because people have been lied to so many times. We've got access to too much information now, and the government's credibility is shot. People just aren't buying into it like they used to. Ana Kasparian is spot on here. Fear-mongering is losing its power, and it's about time people stopped falling for it. If you find this video interesting, please like and subscribe to the channel to see more similar videos. Thank you for watching.